You have to start in order to get better. You have to do your first speech so that you can do your 100th speech. You have to make your first video so that you can do your 100th video. We all have to start somewhere. Now, this video is going to speak about something that just recently came up in my head. And I think it's something that holds back a lot of people. And I don't think that should be the case for anyone. This video is about why you should just go for it. So recently I did a speech, okay? It was my first motivational speech, first motivational talk. I'll tell you sort of how it came about. So I had been making content on TikTok as well as Instagram as Reels. And someone had come across my content, sort of, it just showed up on their For You page, right? God bless the algorithm, showed up on the For You page. And he reached out to me. He was someone that I had spoken to before. Someone that's like a prominent member in the area that we live in. And he runs events. And so he reached out to me and asked that I do a speech at one of his events. Now, this was the first time that anyone had even brought that up for me, right? So like that was the first time anyone had ever even asked. And so in my head, as soon as he actually asked, the first thing my mind did was come up with excuses, right? Because I was scared. I had never done this before. And in my head, the first things that came up was, oh, it could go down like this. I could have these problems. I could have, it could all go to shit. People could have a completely different opinion of me. All of these things were just going in through my head. So I thought about it. And then immediately I was coming up with excuses. And then he said something that like, I actually talk about this in my speech. I'll upload that speech next week in next week's video. But he said something that convinced me, okay? He said that I see something in you. And obviously this is something everyone wants to hear, him being a smart man. Maybe he didn't see something in me, but he just said it to get me to sort of, do the speech. Now, a week before my speech, okay? Someone from my family actually passed away. My grandmother passed away, God rest her soul. And it was the perfect excuse, right? I had the perfect excuse to actually go ahead and give up on this and go ahead and tell them, okay, I'm not doing this. I had the perfect excuse to actually wiggle my way out of this. Now, there's 3 reasons as to why I didn't take advantage of that excuse. The first reason is the fact that this speech, right, what I do, it will be the worst that it'll ever be, right, in my life. So as you do something, right, think of it this way. As humans, by doing something, by practicing, by doing something and by failing and by making mistakes, you seem to sort of learn how to improve that process, right? You learn how to make it even slightly better, even 1% better, right? If every time you're making it 1% better, it compounds. And let's say like, okay, I do my first speech, and then each speech after that, I make better and better and better. Imagine my 100th speech. Imagine where it'll be, right? Just like my YouTube videos, right? My first video, if you go and look at it, you could see it wasn't like, I personally didn't think it was good at all, right? Now, still, I don't think that my YouTube videos are good, but they are definitely better than what they were when I first started. You have to start in order to get better. You have to do your first speech so that you can do your 100th speech. You have to make your first video so that you can do your 100th video. We all have to start somewhere. Do you think that Elon Musk created the perfect Tesla, the Tesla that he sells now, as his first one? No chance, right? He kept building it, kept sending it out for prototypes, test driving, all those things, and then started fixing the mistakes that came and he kept iterating, right? Joe Rogan, do you think his first podcast was really good? No, he failed at it, right? As a stand-up comedian, he even says it. He was like, I'm a better stand-up comedian now. I'm a better worker now, because he was shit at his first one, right? He had failed at the first one. He got laughed off stage at his first stand-up show. I think about this, right? And I tell everyone about this, in particular my brother. My brother has been talking about starting a YouTube channel for years, okay, for years. And he actually has good information. Like, he's got like a different thought process that I think would make a difference in this world. But he still hasn't started, right? And for that reason, he will always be behind the other people that have started, the other people that have been making mistakes, have been making shit videos, right? Because they are continuously improving on their videos. They're continuously improving on every single thing that they're doing. Maybe that's music, maybe that's videography, maybe that's editing. Everything is getting better because they're continuously doing it, right? And they're continuously failing, and they're continuously trying to get better. Reason number 2 as to why I decided to do it, group. Okay, we're 21 grandchildren, and we're all first cousins, and I'm in the middle of that. Okay, and due to that reason, I know for a fact that there are younger cousins that see the things I do, that look up to certain things that I do. If I had taken advantage of this excuse and I had given up and quit, then they would have thought that, oh, okay, it's actually okay to do that. If my older cousin's doing that, why shouldn't I? I know this because I thought the same way, right? I look up to some of my older cousins, and if they had, let's say there was something that they wanted to do, right? Or they were trying for a job, or they were trying to do something specific, right? If they had gone and attempted it and failed, then at that case, I would have been okay with it. I'm like, hey, yo, they put all they had into it, right? But if they had never even attempted it, I would have always thought, oh, okay. One, it's not good. Like, there's no point in me looking up to this person because he doesn't do things. And the other thing is, I would have thought, oh, like, it's okay for me to be like that as well, right? Be someone that doesn't attempt anything new. Be someone that is just average, just wants to live an average, boring life. I personally look up to some of my cousins that are doing big things because I want to use that as competition so that I can get better. If my cousins were giving up like that, then I wouldn't have someone to look up to. And so I see myself as that older cousin now for my younger cousins. And so I need to set the example so that they have someone they can look up to and use as competition. I want my cousins, I want my brother, I want my younger people to get better than me so that I can in turn get even better, right? Use them as competition to get even better. Reason number 3 as to why I decided that I was gonna go through with it. You know, even right before the speech, like I was there, I was listening to like motivational music, just getting into the zone, and I was so scared. I was like, my throat was starting to get dry. I was just overthinking every little thing. And boy, am I glad that I went through with it. Am I glad that because after my speech, people reached out and they were like, wow, that was good. I honestly thought I could have done better. But people reached out and they were like, wow, that was good. You're just a natural at it. You should do more of this, right? Multiple people texted me. People texted my mom. Some of my mom's friends were there. They texted her. They were like, wow, that's a great speech. That was great, valuable content that your son has provided, right? Imagine how proud my mom would be. Okay, now reason number 3. Sorry, I've sort of went off topic, but self-accountability. Letting yourself down, right? I think this is something that's one of the most important things that everyone should aspire to do, right? They should hold themselves accountable, hold themselves responsible for every single decision you make. You know, like one day of not waking up early could push you back 6 months, a year from achieving your dreams. Could have been that one day was going to be a specific opportunity that comes up and you didn't wake up that day. You missed that opportunity. That could have been something that, you know, would have pushed your career, your dreams back. I could have decided when he told me about the speech, I could have decided not to do it. But then who would have known that, okay, maybe I have some potential in this. I would never have known that, oh, I'm apparently a natural at public speaking, right? None of that. All because of this one day I picked up this phone call and I said yes. This is why you should go do it. With the accountability, right? I said yes, I committed to it. And I had one of the best excuses, but I knew in reality that it wasn't that excuse. That wasn't the reason that I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it because I was scared. All I thought about, the only things that went in my head were, oh, how I could mess it up, how I could stutter, how I could forget my words, how all that could happen. But by attacking this fear, by actually going ahead and doing this, even though like I was scared shitless, that's where courage comes from. You should be scared. You should be scared to do a lot of things. But by actually going ahead and still doing it, even with the fear, makes you better. If I had decided to quit and just given up on it, yeah, it would have been easier. I would have felt less stress. I would have enjoyed that Saturday night. I would have enjoyed the entire week up until then, but I would have lost faith in myself. I would have trusted myself less. I would have had less courage towards other things. These things just propagate, right? They propagate into other things in your life. They seep in. The way you act towards one thing, you might think, okay, the way I act towards one specific thing will not affect any other parts of my life. But no, it's part of your character. It's part of the things that you do. It's the way you act. It's the way your brain works. You know, when our bosses say, like at work, right? Our bosses say we need to finish one specific thing, like a task or a project by this day, we do it, right? But then when you say, okay, I'm gonna do this today, you don't do it because you don't respect yourself as much. You're not committed to yourself. You're not accountable for your actions. You don't hold yourself accountable for your actions. Life is short. You have to try things in order to know what you want to do, right? You need to fail in order to get better. Let me read you a quote by Les Brown. This is one of the scariest things that just, when I heard it for the first time, it just completely changed my perspective. The graveyard is the richest place on earth because it is here that you will find all the hopes and dreams that were never fulfilled, the books that were never written, the songs that were never sung, the inventions that were never shared, the cures that were never discovered, all because someone was too afraid to take that first step. Think about it, right? If you don't take that first step, you'll never take that second, you'll never take the third. So just go for it. Just do it. You only have one life, but if you put in the work, that one life is more than enough.